You're welcome back to the Naija Filmmaker, a podcast for us to talk about Nigerian filmmakers, their films, and how we can build a diverse and functional industry. I'm your host, Selegot. On this episode, my guest is Nadine Ibrahim. She's a director and filmmaker. She has directed notable projects such as Through Her Eyes, I Am Not Corrupt, and Tolu. We talk about her documentary Marked, directing children, and the story she loves to tell. If you're a new listener, you're welcome and I hope you enjoy. Hi Nadine, you're welcome to the Naija Filmmaker.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so can you introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Nadine Ibrahim. I'm a filmmaker from northern Nigeria. And what else do you want to know?
Yeah, are you a director, writer?
I wear many hats. So I'm a writer, director, producer, editor. I kind of do everything.
Yeah.
Depending on the project.
Okay.
But let's, for the sake of one thing, let's say I'm a director.
All right. Yeah, I can see that you have worked on like a lot of short projects and some features. So from Through Her Eyes to Tolu to I Am Not Corrupt, and then Marked.
Yes.
So with these different mediums, the short film, the documentary, why did you choose these particular mediums?
Well, so I studied film at university, and then I also did a short course at the New York Film Academy. And I've always had a passion for storytelling. But actually, from the start, all I wanted to do was feature films, fiction feature films.
Yeah.
But I don't know, life happens. And so I came back to Nigeria, and what was on the table for me was more of, corporate storytelling, documentaries, short videos, and things like that. So, I just began doing what was available to me back then.
Yeah.
But I guess short films was a great way to test the waters, being fresh out of uni and coming back to Nigeria.
Okay. So yeah, let's go, I guess further back into the past. Like, how did you discover filmmaking? Can you tell us that story?
How did I discover filmmaking? So I started getting interested in the whole film process when I was in A-levels.
Yeah.
So I went to school in the UK, and you're supposed to choose, 4 subjects. So I chose media studies and arts as 2 of those, and I realized that my strengths were mostly in those. So I kept acing those subjects,
yeah,
and not failing the rest, but not doing as great. So, I decided to look into it a bit more, and I realized that I really enjoyed the aspect of, storytelling and the media processes. So I decided to, fine tune my skills, and decided to, study at university, take more courses, and yeah, I guess that's how I found myself in this field.
Okay. I read an article where you mentioned your love for portraiture, emotion, and the different subjects. What do you generally like to make your films about?
So for me, the human angle is always the most interesting part of it, because for me, creating a story about different characters and the way they live their lives and how relatable they can be is always an exciting process for me. Most of my films are about things that, I read online or people I actually meet.
Yeah.
And, I just get really fascinated by the stories and the ideas of, how I can tell their stories visually in a captivating way for people to watch. And yeah. So yeah, it's for me, it's really exciting to be able to, dissect people's lives and show it visually in an emotive but interesting, way.
So yeah, let's look at Through Her Eyes. It got into AFRIF and was nominated for Best Short Film and also a semi-finalist at Los Angeles Cinema Festival. How was that, like, especially for it coming early in your career?
It was exciting to get the recognition. It was my first short film. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but I was really passionate about the narrative that I chose. So it was really exciting to see that, not only a national but international audience was interested in that story. Um, so yeah, it was a humbling experience to get such reception for my work when
Yeah.
I was just starting out. But I guess it was also very encouraging, and it motivated me to keep going.
Okay, so why did you choose this particular story about the suicide bomber?
So through her eyes, I made through her eyes at a time where in the news all we were hearing about was Boko Haram and the attacks that were going on all around Nigeria.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very emotional to keep reading about this and looking at the angle of these young girls from northern Nigeria blowing themselves up. I found it an interesting topic to explore. I just thought, what is what is the thought process a little girl would go through to be able to strap herself up and go and actually press a button to blow herself up. So I did a lot of research about it. I visited Maiduguri, and I thought it would be an interesting perspective to tell the story from the standpoint of a young girl, not just a suicide bomber. Like you read these articles and you see it just says suicide bomber, and then it talks about all the people that were killed, but we never really talk about the actual girl that committed the suicide. Was she a terrorist? Is she a terrorist? Was she born a terrorist? So all those questions I was hoping that I could shed light on and reflect with the film.
All right. I mean, I've noticed like most of the projects you've worked on, like there's something I guess special about it, from Through Our Eyes being about a suicide bomber to I Am Not Corrupt, to Tolu. How would you say you found your voice? This unique voice telling these stories like in a quite unique way.
So with most of my work, I always plan to make a statement with what I make. I always have at the back of my mind that I don't want to make something that's already out there, and I don't want to, tell the same story over and over again. If it's the same kind of story, let it be a different perspective that people haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And with my films, I find it interesting because it reaches a larger audience. You want to say something, but you don't exactly know how, or you don't know how to get people to listen. And loads of people turn to media, for entertainment, for news, for insights. So using, I guess, film as a medium to shed light on things that I'm passionate about and want to speak about is always what it is for me. So which is why most of my films, make statements, whether it's about politics, whether it's about gender equality, whether it's about terrorism. I always try to make sure that there's some sort of, subcontext behind it, and some sort of like information I'm putting out there to raise awareness for things that I care about.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about Tolu. Quite a unique film. I guess a lot of green screen was done for the film. Can you talk us through making that film?
Okay, Tolu. So I made Tolu with my team in Lagos. And what we did was, initially we wanted to shoot in Makoko.
Yeah.
But we had issues. You know how Lagos is, and shooting in Lagos, it can be quite stressful. So that didn't work out. And a friend of mine, he was an actor in a Caribbean. He actually let us know about this fishing community way past Lekki, all the way down past this new Dangote refinery. So we drove all the way down there, and we saw the community, and it was really beautiful, and it matched the description of my script, the whole idea of a community living on water. So we decided we would shoot there. It was one of the most challenging projects I've worked on, because one, I was out of my comfort zone. I was all the way in Lagos. So we flew from Abuja to Lagos.
Yeah.
And I was working with an amazing cast. I mean, I was working with cast member that were on blockbuster films, so it was quite intimidating,
Yeah.
but also exciting, Wale Ojo, Karibi, Somkele, and also Halimat, the young actress. So it was really exciting working with a team like that. And one of my really good friends, he shot Through Her Eyes, Asaf. He also shot Tolu, which was exciting to collaborate with him again.
Yeah.
And I would say it was an exciting journey. We learned a lot from it. I mean, I had never shot green screen before. I had never shot on water before. I had never shot in a place where there was zero electricity. So it came with its challenges as well.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was an exciting, experience, being able to visit that community and be able to tell the story as authentic as I could.
Okay, so you mentioned it kind of being intimidating working with all these stars. How did you handle that?
Well, to be honest, it was intimidating at first getting on set the first day because I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't worked with them before. But once I met them, told them my vision, we walked through the script, it was pretty easy. They were really, really beautiful people. They had amazing personalities. They were easy to work with. I didn't have to do much directing, to be honest, because as soon as I told them what I was going for, it was very easy for them to deliver. So yeah, I didn't have any issues once I got on set. It's just that fear, I think everybody has that fear walking on a set for the first time.
Yeah.
With a new crew and a new cast and not knowing what to expect. But in the end, it turned out amazing.
Okay. So how many days did you guys spend shooting this film?
We shot that for 2 days.
Did you kind of encounter any challenges, or it went pretty smooth?
Of course, every production has its challenges. We had issues with, like I said, there was no electricity there.
Yeah.
And our backup generator wasn't working. So most of the shots that we had planned to use lights, we had to use natural lights. The challenges we had was obviously when we were losing daylight, we then had to figure out how to shoot the night scenes without messing up our vision. So that we had technical issues.
Yeah.
Also, Halima, the main actress, she actually couldn't swim. So before we started shooting Tolu, we took her. I personally took her for swimming lessons, and I taught her how to swim. I don't know how great I did, but at least she just wasn't scared of the water anymore. So which was good enough for us. However, there was supposed to be one scene where we shot underwater, but once we got there, it was a lot scarier than it was in a pool, So it didn't quite work out the way we had planned. But bless her soul, she actually did try, and she fell into that water quite a few times. We just didn't use it in the film.
Okay. I mean, in Through Her Eyes and with Tolu, you worked with children. How was this experience?
It was great. Both, with Through Her Eyes, Anissa, she didn't have experience acting, so it was new to both of us. I had directed a child actor in my uni days.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of experience, with how to direct them, how to talk to them, get them comfortable on set. But with every experience, it's different, and it's not challenging, but you have to have a lot of patience, because you're dealing with children and they don't understand the world that you do.
Yeah.
So it's a process, I guess, but it's an interesting one.
Okay, so apart from being patient, what have you found that works with, working with kids on set?
In terms of lessons that I learned working with kids, I would say when they're tired, listen to them because there's only so much they can give. And if they're in a bad mood, they're not going to deliver, you're going to see it in their faces. Children are the most honest people in the world. So then they can't hide how they feel, So it can be frustrating for us because we need to get the job done and we're running on time and money and all of this. But to them, they're not thinking about all of those things, So you have to be, I guess you have to be patient and understanding with them and see the world through their eyes in order to get them to deliver.
Okay, let's go to I Am Not Corrupt. Your film went viral. Congrats on that.
Thank you. That was it. That was really exciting. We actually did the film for the Yaradua Foundation in collaboration with the MacArthur Foundation.
Yeah.
So we did that. We shot that in a studio in Lagos, and the clients we had were very clear on the message they were trying to pass across.
Yeah.
So I worked with a script writer called Sheila. She did a brilliant job in getting, the dialogue so accurate. And we just knew we needed to be deliberate in the message that we were trying to pass across with it. It's a conversation between from two different worlds, and everybody wants to voice out their concerns and their opinions, and we just wanted both sides to be heard.
Yeah.
So that was a really exciting project. It was the first proper project I worked in a studio, so that was exciting as well. Setting it up with the lights and figuring out how we were going to do the movements and set design and all of that. So that's up to date. That's one of my favorite projects as well. Okay. I think all my projects are my favorite projects because I've learned everything. Yeah. I've learned so much each of them.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Marked. Congrats on getting it on Netflix.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how easy was that to do?
How easy was what, getting it on Netflix?
Yeah.
It wasn't that easy. I mean, this is the thing, right? So you have a film and you make it, and then once it gets to wherever it gets to, people just assume that it happened overnight. And for me, it just wasn't the case. I actually filmed Marked. We shot and filmed, screened everything. Marked was created 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I submitted it to so many festivals. First of all, let's start from the cuts. I had done multiple cuts.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to find, with documentaries, it's really hard to get it right, because you need to engage people, and you need to be able to hold their attention for as long as the documentary will go. So Mark started off as 1 hour, 1.5 hours, then it went to 40 minutes, then it went to 30 minutes, then it went to 20 minutes. So the whole editing journey was a thing on its own. And then when we were done, we submitted to lots of festivals and we got lots of rejections. So it's been a really long journey. I mean, we submitted to AFRIF, we've submitted to AMVCA, we submitted to international festivals, and for some reason, it just wasn't doing so great, So it was quite disappointing at first. But of course, when you're coming into the film industry, it's so diverse, there's so much competition. You can't just give up once you get a few no's, because you're going to get a lot of no's.
Yeah.
So we kept trying. That's actually one of the reasons why we did quite a few different edits, because we were trying to target certain festivals, trying to get into short competitions, long competitions.
Yeah.
And I guess the successes with Marked would be the premiere we had in Abuja, which was received quite well. We had the photo exhibition as well. We also screened the documentary at an exhibition in London called Scarred, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then now Netflix. So it's been a long journey here. And my team, have been amazing with me for production and pre-production. And I mean, I'm just really glad that finally it's been received well, and we're on such an amazing platform that people can watch and enjoy it, and hopefully they enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it.
Yeah. I mean, I must say that the color was vibrant, and getting such a comprehensive cross-section of people in Nigeria, getting all these points of view. It was really nice to, find out all those inside stories.
Yeah, no, it was a really fun journey traveling through the different states in Nigeria to get these stories. It wasn't as easy as it looks when you see the finished products, because there was a lot of convincing. Most of these people, all of actually, didn't know us from anywhere. and we came with our cameras, which was also foreign to them. So it was quite hard to get them to sit in front of the camera and actually trust us. But in the end, we did, and we're grateful for that. And I only wish that we could have, put a lot more into the documentary. But, as it is now, I guess it's perfect for the audience.
Yeah. So like, how many states did you shoot it in?
I think we visited about 26 states.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was over 2 trips. So the first trip we went through, it was myself, Ibrahim Daddy, and Victor Adewale, one of the photographers, and we traveled through the south. And then afterwards, we went to the north with Khalid and the same Ibrahim Daddy and Dayo.
Yeah.
The second time around, we had a bigger team, so it was a lot easier for us to achieve what we did.
Okay, so you mentioned that you went from a cut that was 1 hour 30 minutes to 20 minutes. What was happening at each point in time? What did you have to let go of?
So the thing about Marked is that it's a lot of talking heads, right?
Yeah.
You have lots of people just looking at the camera telling you about their story and their journey and why they have these marks. So if you have an hour and a half of people just talking at this camera, I think people would turn off and switch off, after maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes, because it could get quite tiring just watching talking heads. And I had a certain vision for the documentary in that I didn't want to go out of this bubble of the interviews and the drone shots. So it wasn't an option for me to record people's lives in each setting and stuff like that. So to make it, I guess, to answer your question, to make it more interesting and more engaging, I had to cut a lot of the interviews and just pick my most powerful ones, which is what you would see on the Netflix version.
Okay. And you mentioned you submitted to countless festivals. I'm sure you spent a lot of money on that. How do you stay encouraged to put money into like your festival run in the future on other projects?
So something I've learned along the way is that not every film you make you should put into festivals, and also know the festivals you are trying to submit to and what exactly they are looking for. So with my short films, I was deliberate in the festivals I was selecting because I knew the genre and the subject matter I was exploring wouldn't appeal to some festivals. But with Marked, I was a bit over ambitious in thinking that loads of festivals will find this more engaging. Yeah. So I did spend a lot of money submitting to the high-end Toronto, to Cannes, to all those festivals,
Yeah.
And that's not what they're looking for, I guess, because I didn't get into them. But in terms of, staying motivated to keep going, it's that you need to have at the back of your mind that your film is not for everyone. But once you find the people that it is for, then you've struck gold. And if in my case, I went to quite a few places and they said no, and Netflix said yes, which was amazing. So yeah, and for me, the more I see it, the better. So it's a documentary. It's not a film that's gonna, make money in the cinemas and stuff like that. So for me, the most important thing was that people would watch it and receive it well.
Okay, so congrats on recently becoming a mother.
Thank you.
Yeah, would you say motherhood has changed the kind of stories you want to tell?
No, I would say it has. It would probably make me refine my skills a bit more in terms of paying attention to details, because I'm being more patient, because having a baby is a whole other ball game. I've learned a lot from just him alone.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked on any huge projects since him, because obviously he's been my main project.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping if I have changed at all, it would be for the better, because I've learned a lot from him so far.
That's nice. So, what are you currently working on?
I'm currently working on my next project, which is a TV drama series set in northern Nigeria. I can't say too much about it now,
Yeah.
but we are going to explore, relationships, culture, religion, and identity
Okay.
through the lens of the female, through the lens of northern Nigerian women.
Yeah. And at what stage are you currently on the project? Still development?
Yes, we've just finished the script, so we're in pre-production at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
And where are you planning for it to end up?
I cannot say for now.
Okay.
It is a 10-episode series. I'm only thinking of season 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
But God will gets on any platform, whether it's Netflix or or DSTV. I'm not quite sure where I want the home for it to be just yet.
Okay. So let's say you're stuck on an island and you only have one movie or TV series to keep watching. Which one would that be?
Oh, This Is Us.
Why that one?
Because I love This Is Us. It's an amazing character-driven series about life, and I couldn't find any other series more interesting than that. The characters themselves are just really interesting.
All right, now to the final question. So, you work in Nigeria, you make your films in Nigeria. There are a lot of things with the industry that are kind of frustrating, that kind of slow you down when you're trying to execute stuff. What's your top priority that you want to be improved in the industry with the whole value chain?
I would say it would be great for people to have more avenues to exhibit their work, whether it's Netflix or other video platforms, because it's really hard for people to get their content seen. I mean, most people make their films, aim for cinema, and then after cinema it disappears, Now that Netflix, it's great because that seems to be the avenue everybody goes towards. But it would be great to have more avenues for people, more platforms for people to showcase their work.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I guess that's what keeps feeding the industry. The more the filmmakers make money, the more they invest into future projects.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how can people keep up with your work?
I'm very active on Instagram. So when I do have stuff coming out, I promote it on there. And I also have a website that I release some of my content. Everybody should watch Marked on Netflix. We're really excited that it's on there, and it's worldwide as well. So wherever you are, you can watch it. And I'd love to get people's feedback and what they think of it in general.
Okay. Thanks, Nadine, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
We have come to the end of this episode. Please remember to leave a rating and a review. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Naija Film, and the podcast also on Instagram and Twitter at the Naija Film Pod. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.